Hey folks, Siam here. I'm proud to say that this video is sponsored by TAO Stats, the leading Bittensor explorer. You can buy, sell and stake and transfer your TAO on TAO Stats and do a lot more. But very quickly, when you land on TAO Stats, this is what you see. I tend to spend most of my time in the Subnets page, so you can click that and expand the whole list for the emissions leaderboard to see all your favorite subnets, or even hover over the subnets thing and then click into a subnet. When you get there, you see a trading view type chart. You can do anything you want there. You can see the price, they're all in TAO. You can see the liquidity pools, you can see how many holders there are, the root proportion. You can click into statistics and look at the subnet emission growth. There's all sorts of things you can do. You can then check out the chain if you wish, or what validator to use. They have an analytics page, and also I think a handy one is the yield tab. So you can click into any subnet of your choice. Let's look at Templar, and then the yield that this subnet is dishing out per validator, or look at the tokenomics page and you can see when the next halving is, etc, etc. So yeah, I spend most of my time on TAO Stats multiple times throughout the day, and there is a TAO Stats link in the description of this video somewhere, so check it out and get used to that subnets page. It will definitely help your trading. Cheerio. Hey folks, hope you're well. So I've made 2 videos recently on YouTube, and I just want to go through some of the questions, give you very quick answers, because I'm a sucker at talking for 2 hours straight about Bittensor. Then I want to, but before that, I want to talk very quickly about Bitcast. So Bitcast is a subnet within Bittensor, so subnet 93. And what it does is it rewards video content creators about specific things, so about topics. And so all I'm doing at the moment is trialing out 3 videos and then seeing the returns. So for example, when you go to bitcast.network, go to the links, go to the creator portal, you'll see that you have these briefs, and a whole bunch of them are expired. And there's, if we click on the top 10, so I have to make it, or people have to make a video about whether Bittensor could break into the top 10, and you have to cover all these things and include this in the description, etc. And basically, when your video goes live on YouTube, there's an API connecting YouTube and Bitcast, and it'll detect whether it's a eligible video or not. And then you get paid based on YouTube premium revenue. So for example, this top 10 video is this one here. And then the first one I did was this one, which was this brief, which is Tech Giants. So I had to talk about at least 2 subnets. I think I did 5 on this. So, and what I wanted to do is basically just do 3 videos, and it's done over a 3-week period. So in 3 weeks time, see what revenue or income I've made as a Bittensor video miner, and then just share all of the stats and figures. So some of the stats are starting to roll in with this first video. So what you have to do is you go to the YouTube studio. And by the way, yes, there is a bit of a moat. So at the moment, if you have a YouTube channel with subscribers, etc., you're going to do a lot better. So if you do talk about the market and whatnot and have some following, it's worth doing. Soon, in a month or 2, they're moving over to X. So the API will be with X, and what it means is that if you are someone with 0 followers, it doesn't matter, because they'll be looking at sort of some video engagement metric on X. So you could have bugger all followers, put a video out, and if the engagement, etc., is good, you'll get rewarded. So if you're a YouTuber, you've got a very limited amount of time here. But anyway, go to analytics and then advanced mode, and then you have to do the breakdown to YouTube. No, wrong one. Sorry, it's this one here. YouTube premium revenue. Come on, my computer. Am I being stupid here? Here we go. YouTube premium, apply. So here we go. So this video where I talk about 5 different subnets. So let's move these together. You can see that YouTube premium revenue, I've made 59 cents off that. But then what Bitcast does is give you a multiplier off that. So you have this little calculator. So it's a dedicated video. It's a YouTube premium account. I go 0.59. Boom. So that video has already made $1,426, which is just absolutely ridiculous. And then they have another thing called ad read. So if you go to this, so there's one for TAOstats. So I would have put this TAOstats thing at the beginning. So you have to talk about TAOstats for within at least 20 seconds in the first 3 minutes. So you probably would have already seen that in this video. And then that gives you not as much, but again, I'm just checking it out. So if we go in and look at that one with so I've done one already with this interview. So it's a revenue search, which I put it in front. So it's 0.23. So if we go to this thingy and change it to ad, read, and then 0.23, that video is made $183. So yeah, I'm just checking it out. That's all. And you can do all sorts, like if you you can look at the brief, go to the script checker, and you can put in the video description, what you say in it, etc., and it'll say whether it's passed or not. So that's all I'm doing with, sorry, not 4 videos, and then seeing how it goes. So now that's covered, let's talk about some of the questions. So the first video, again, thank you for all of the nice comments. Mark, I've literally just replied to that, and I genuinely mean this. I think the more Bitcast video miners there are, yes, we're all competing against each other, but I guess it's a net positive for the Bittensor ecosystem as a whole, and we need to get eyeballs out there because you know, as I've said, Bittensor straddles 3 lanes: the AI lane, the VC lane, because each subnet is an independent AI startup. That's why there's a lot of institutional attention with Bittensor behind the scenes. Again, the retail market doesn't see all that, but there's huge waves incoming from behind the scenes. And then obviously it straddles crypto. So 3 sort of markets. We just need eyeballs on it. Could you drop on buying Subnet tokens? Yes, I'll have to do more videos on that. There are many subnets without competitors, many. And so when you go to subnetalpha.ai and just have a look at a bunch of these, you'll see that there are so many. So like gradients, for example, there is no better AutoML service out there than gradients. You don't need machine learning experts or engineers to employ people in your company anymore. You just use gradients. And I don't think there's any 8-bill model that is better than what gradients have done. So you know, and there's all sorts, like the world's best weather detection is actually a fight between Zeus, subnet 18, and Gaia, subnet 57. You know, like with Gaia, for example, they took the Microsoft Aurora model, which was world leading, and they've made it better. And again, Ridges, Ridges is absolutely amazing. I've spoken about that, I think, on this video, but we're now at 59%. I can't remember what percentage it was when I covered it, but
Ridges is just spooling up.
yeah, we're at 59%, and they're changing the incentive mechanism soon. So the thing is, it's not going to just stop at 74. It'll just keep on getting better and better. So there are many, and I mean, it would be a multi-hour video going through all of these. You know, Shoots delivers so much. But yeah. So let's get back to the questions. Why would a gigantic corporation like Netflix choose small Bittensor subnet over a well-known player like Amazon? Yeah, there's job risk at the moment, but we're only just spooling up. It's a bit like with Bitcoin. There was job risk with people investing in Bitcoin, but then Michael Saylor put his neck on the line and was the first publicly listed entity to go, you know, ham-fisted into Bitcoin. And now all of a sudden there's 100+ listed entities. So, you know, every project's at a different period of its journey. We've only just started. Eventually you will see big entities using Bittensor things. So for example, if we take subnet 54, which is Yanez MID or MIID, so this does financial crime prevention, and it uses and like in their sector, the regulator forces companies to do these sort of the not penetration attacks, but to stress test the cyber security. And so Subnet 54 uses the Bittensor engine, so to speak, to create synthetic IDs to then hammer a potential or a company's detection system. So like there is a multi-billion-dollar company already using Yanas, and there's many others, and and a lot of these subnets, if we just look over here, we've got 128 at the moment. Deregistered subnet deregistrations are coming, which is a good thing, because there's probably 20 sort of subnets doing absolutely bugger all, maybe more, but it's the same with any ecosystem. And then the cap will come off soon, and then we'll go from 128 to a lot. But there's a lot of revenue being generated. Like Targon shared that they're making $3,500 a day. So what is that? 3.5 times 30.42. So they're making about $106,000 a month. Dippy's making about $60,000 a month. Bitcast is making I think $25,000 to $30,000 a month. There's so many subnets here that are actually making revenue, real world revenue, which is a lot more. There are many crypto projects out there that have been going for years and they're not making a penny. But remember, all of these are independent AI startups. They're all doing something completely different, and so they're ticking so many boxes. And you just need like 10% of the subnets to do well, and it will deliver 90% of the upside. It's just extreme Pareto principle in everything. Just like Ridges, for example, that will single-handedly destroy Cursor and Claude Code. And Claude, Anthropic's a multi-billion-dollar entity. Claude Code is making hundreds of millions of dollars a year in revenue. Same with Cursor. But Ridges will just make them both look stupid. And where do you think that revenue will flow? Ridges. So it's early days. What exchange do people use to sell their crypto? Kraken, Coinbase, Mexi, there's loads. Strike is good, I like Strike. And nobody cares till green candles. So that's that video. I think there's a few more. There's more here. I'm going to have to be fast because there's lots of questions on this one, I believe. Dynamic. Sorry, I'm just trying to look for the questions. Okay, so Zoo. Truly hope this gamble works out for you. It's not a gamble. This is a very well calculated investment. I hold a lot of TAO, but it's been the worst performing asset in my entire crypto portfolio. Again, where was your entry price? I went all in at $169. Again, look at the APY on the subnet. So, for example, like if you like, I'm not a longer term player. For me, I see turbulent storms coming in about 4 to 6 months, 4 to 8 months, let's say. So I will be sidestepping and going to Tether. But there are other people with longer time frames. So if we just get a doodle, if I just press Control M and just get some doodles out, and if we just take, like, if you go to TAOstat and look at the yield, and you can look at any subnet and look at the yield, right? Templar is averaging about 65% APY. What's another one that people like? IOTA, that's going to be a game changer, 60 odd percent. Dippy, what's Dippy? About 70. So, at the moment, most of the subnets, they got very high APY, and the APY will remain relatively high for the next 2 years because they're on a 2-year halving schedule. And so when you look at the maths behind it, I can't find, where is it? Actually, instead of doodling it out fresh, I've doodled this relatively recently, and you'll see that, here we go. This is the equation, okay? And it compounds daily. So if I just do that and go over here. And so let's just say you were to buy, let's say you had $10,000, okay? Let's keep it relatively simple. Why is this doing that? Come on. So 10k, the price of TAO right now is 350, and so I'll just get my calculator for speed here, divided by 350, you got 28, and I'll just round it down just for ease, 28.57 TAO, okay? And let's just say you went in on a subnet, and the subnet was whatever. Let's just say the price is 0.02 TAO, okay? Because all the subnets are priced in TAO. So what this means is that you have 28.57 divided by 0.02. It means you have 1428.5 alpha, okay? So that's the colloquial name for subnet token. So that's how much alpha you have. Now, over the next 2 years, let's just say for 2 years we use 60% APY, and then for the next, we'll do 2 years and then we'll do 4 years, okay? And then the next 2 years after that, let's use 30%. So first of all, we'll do a 2-year example. And so over the 2 years, you take 14, I'll show you on the calculator here, 1 second, so you can actually see what I'm doing. So the easy way to sort of digest this is that you take the percentage, so 0.6 divided by 365 plus 1, and then you do it, and it's to the power of how many days. So we're doing it for 2 years, so to the power of 730, and that gives us our multiplier factor. So times that by 1428.5, it means in 2 years' time you've got 4738. So 4738 alpha, and that's after 2 years. And let's just say, over 2 years the price goes up, goes down, and I don't know, let's just say it's the same price. It will have done all sorts, but let's say you had to sell here at exactly the same price. Well then it's that times 0.02. You've now got 94.76 TAO. So 94.76 TAO, which is an increase from the 28.5. And let's just say in 2 years' time, TAO only 10x, it's only 3.5k in 2 years' time, which I think is FUD at this point. You've gone from 10k to 331k. So not only have you done a 10x in TAO, as in the price of TAO, but you've increased your TAO from 28.5 to 94 TAO, and that's just over 2 years. And divide that by 10k, that's a 33x. Now if you were to do it over a 4-year period, you then have to go so 0.3 divided by 365 plus 1 times so to the power of 730 again, that's our multiplier, times the amount of alpha after 2 years, 4738. Guess what? You now have 8631 alpha. And again, let's just say the price is the same. It's only 0.02. We've now got 172 TAO. And then again, in 4 years' time, let's say the price of TAO is still only 3.5, which again is massively, that is FUD. 602k. So they're so, TAO is like the best player I've ever seen in my life, literally. And even if the alpha price drops quite a lot, the yield catches you up, or it mitigates things. And people think, oh, it's Ponzi-nomics. It's not. It's just like the Bitcoin emissions schedule. So like this is the Bitcoin emission schedule, and like in the first 7 years or so, we saw all sorts of things, like how Bitcoin miners were making dozens or hundreds of Bitcoin per day. It's not Ponzi-nomics, it's just that 100% of the rewards went to miners. In Bittensor's case, only 41% of the rewards go to miners, 41% go to the validators, and 18% go to the subnet owners. So it is spread out much differently. So, what was I talking about? We're going through some questions. Yeah, so again, I've gone off on one. But yeah. Prefer my old office, yeah. Yes, I still do have a sweet tooth. What would be the catalyst for Bittensor to jump that many positions on the list? Institutional money. This won't be a retail driven thing. Yeah. And no, the Bittensor halving is not the catalyst. It's literally the hundreds of millions of dollars that will be flowing into TAO in a very short period of time. It's as simple as that. Yeah, it may have underperformed badly this year, but it's done well over, let's say, a 3-year period or even 2-year period. Again, people are so short-sighted in terms of time horizons. Yeah, that good answer. Xboxes. Exit strategy. Again, if you read my book or listen to my book, I go through that fully. So if you're ever bored, go to Siam Kid Book, and it's this one, Get Filthy Rich. This is the entire audiobook with all of the pictures. And I wrote this like
geeky mind like me.
Almost
It had been
18 months ago, 20. Yeah.
Analogies can compress huge.
A lot of it is still already out of date, but it's still worth listening to. So that's that. TAO already topped. That's your opinion, okay? Totals touching 5 trillion, and then it's a bear market. Again, I find that incredibly hard to believe. When we're looking at the total crypto market cap chart, like 5 trillion is here. I find that really hard to believe. But again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. I think, even 6.8 trillion is a bad outcome. 5 trillion is just, I can't see that happening, personally. And then, the still dreaming of top 10 TAO, fine. If you're an institutional guy, why are you shilling it to retail? One, I guess my hedge fund is an institutional entity. I'm not shilling to retail. I'm just doing these Bitcast videos just to see, I'm doing my due diligence within a subnet, because I've already done a 50 grand OTC deal with Bitcast and I want to put more in. And Bitcast has done pretty well. So, when we look at Bitcast as a subnet, the price has done pretty well. So if we go to the 4-hour chart, it's better. And before people go, oh, that chart looks horrendous. That's what every subnet chart looks like, because when you register the subnet, and then you go live, what happens? Your liquidity pool is empty. So the moment you go live, price drops to basically zero, because there's no alpha and there's no TAO in the pool. But then every 12 seconds, which is every block, you have at least one TAO and at least one alpha going into the block. And so that's what one of my rules is, to never touch a brand new subnet. Let's get out of the log and look at it on the linear. So this is by design, and that scares a lot of retail because they don't understand the mechanics behind it. But every subnet chart looks like this, and so I wait for it to bleed out, make some sort of a bottom, and start making a recovery. And then look what Bitcast has done since, and I think it's still got legs. So yeah, and then when you're looking at the emissions, it's a lovely gentle growth in emissions. I know until recently, and there's obviously many other metrics to look at. So yeah, I can't find it, but there was a really funny comment. It's something like, "Oh, you're a millionaire, but you can't afford aircon," because for what it's worth, I'm just in a 12-month rental. I've been kicking the buying the house can down the road for the last 17 years with my wife. And we almost bought a house 6 months ago, but I managed to kick that can down the road. So we've been in Airbnbs, 2 Airbnbs in the last 6 months, and then I finally got my way. So we're in a 12-month rental. This will see me through the bull market, and then post-bear bull market, I will buy. But yeah, I've been holding off the house purchase for 17 years now. And in the UK, it's doggers weather, so you very rarely have hot days, and yeah, it's just hot at the moment. So that's that. Check out, in terms of the charts, this is, if we go to the daily, we're in a bit of a lull at the moment, but like I did in my community, I said that this would be a pivot. strong chance it's just a shakeout, and that we'd have sort of a bounce followed by a bit of a downwards, basically a pullback. Whether this is a bit more like that, who knows? But again, this is nothing to be scared of. And it's the same with ETH. I said that we'd break out to at least these levels before doing a bit of a pullback, and then hopefully we Kobo above that. And again, I'm waiting for Sol to stick the landing on top of 200, and that's when meme season starts. But if you're ever scared, just look at Tether market cap. That is pretty much the big indicator here. And again, relatively recently, when it's probably beginning of August, I said, look, Tether market cap, consolidates for a bit, and then it will breach, and that's when Bitcoin will start moving again, and it does. So yeah, it's going to be hard for any other stablecoin to catch up. USDC is not really doing much, hasn't done much in a while in terms of market cap. Tether is the only one that is just absolutely trucking. So yeah. Anyway, hope this little ramble video helps. And again, if you're new to Bittensor, check out subnetalpha.ai. And also, if you go to my profile and check out this pinned video, I spend an hour talking about Bittensor. So anyway, cheerio folks. Bye.